Welcome back to They Call Me Uncle.
Today's panel, Morty. Rick and Morty. Carter?
I'm sorry. That's so painful. Okay.
None of that.
Part of the reason we did Rick and Morty today or tonight is they have season 6 coming out very soon.
New Rick and Morty starting Sunday, June 20th at 11 p.m.
Rick and Morty was created in 2013 by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, and the world has not been the same since.
Facts.
Now, my introduction to Rick and Morty came through my son, James. So James said, Dad, we got to try out this new animated show. And so we sat down and we watched the first one. And I thought it was okay, but it didn't hook me right away. So
Acquired taste?
It was. And so I actually watched the first 4 with James. And by the 4th one, I was a Rick and Morty fan. Now what was interesting is FanX that year, when I went to FanX, there was one Rick and Morty booth selling merchandise. And Rick and Morty hadn't really hit everybody's radar yet. By the next year, after Rick and Morty had been out for a year, there were booths everywhere. Rick and Morty had blown up faster than any I remember.
It had enough cosplayers to justify its own cosplay meetup mass group photo.
Before that, at one FanX, there were 32 Deadpools hanging out together.
That's just shameful bandwagoning.
But Rick and Morty blew up so fast. Now, I didn't collect the comics, but I looked into them, and I wanted to give you some information. Having a show that gets as popular as Rick and Morty, this is what it does to your comic book. They started publishing the comic books in 2015. Number one, the comic book industry, back in the 90s, probably started doing what they call variant covers. So the inside of the comic has the same content, but it lets a multitude of artists do a different cover. Well, Rick and Morty number 1, based on information from Comic Vine, has 13 covers.
Damn.
So that's
a lot of covers.
It's a lot of covers. So after I saw that Rick and Morty had its own comic series, I went to one of the websites I used to order from quite a bit and to check out the prices. This website's called mycomicshop.com. It is actually Lone Star Comics down in Texas. We're in no way sponsored by anybody we're talking about.
We wish.
I've done business with these guys online, and they're great. I went and looked on their site, and these covers are done by different artists, and they probably did different numbers of print. One of the covers, which has been professionally graded, is going for $175, which is not too shabby. Another cover, this one's going for anywhere from $300 to $515. So it is really jumped up.
You could buy the whole season.
There's another
series
one for $485.
You could.
These are all in near mint, so they're in good shape. Near mint's about as good as you're going to get. There is a level called Pristine Mint that is kind of unheard of.
It's almost...
Do they print it out and put it right into the packaging and close
well,
that?
Is it even theoretically possible?
Even near mint
is that
doesn't mean anybody's ever touched it. I mean, I don't know how they distinguish that.
They just birth it right into it.
It's like a theoretical perfect, you can never actually achieve it.
Now, another website I've used in the past is milehighcomics.com, and they're in Denver, Colorado. I lived there for a while and collected a lot from their stores. They have a near mint, what they're calling a 5th printing for $400. They have one that they designated as the BAM copy for near mint for $2,000.
If I could whistle, I would.
Kind of wish I collected those.
No, I cannot whistle.
Okay.
Now, the other place I used to get a lot of comics from
Insight
is...
to our lives, people.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned before, if you just want to read the comics, a really good way to do that is to get a trade paperback. So I went down to Endzone Comics, and they had, I think, 8 volumes. So there's been 1 through 9 volumes of collected comics of Rick and Morty, and they had 2 through 8, or 2 through 9. And so I also checked, and it looks like the series went for 60 issues before it stopped in March of 2020. So that's a pretty good run, and especially for a comic that was spawned by a TV show.
Yeah, which historically never does well.
Well, usually it's the other way around. The comic spawns the show, but in this case, the show spawned the comic, and the comic is doing very well.
I think they were made at the same time because they were also animating it at the same time. So if they had the animations and they also had the stills, why wouldn't they just make a comic book?
Well, I actually glanced through the
question.
trade paperback to see if they were adaptations, and they looked like original material. And so, but the art style was very much after the show. These covers, there's a whole variety of art styles. So if you're really into Rick and Morty, go check them out. Now, one of the other things we did is we rounded up some collectibles. I went on Thingiverse, which I mentioned before. It's a site where you can get 3D models.
Show your thing.
So you can print. Well, I put in Portal Gun and got pages and pages of results. There were 2 Portal Guns. There were this one from Rick and Morty, and Mason can always film B-roll and give you a better look at this than me holding it up.
Right now.
Yeah.
There's also the Portal Gun from the game Portal.
Oh, so you
So, yeah, I was picking
the
up
search results did you
tons
that?
of search results. So there were so many of these, and they looked good. All of them looked really good. I had James go find one that he knew he could print probably the easiest, and it turned out really well. So James
look at
printed
that.
this. I don't think it was a really long print, but I can't remember. And we also have a video of it being printed. We'll use time-elapse video, so we'll show that to you now. And it's only 14 seconds long, I think.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing we did,
14 glorious seconds. It's awesome.
I tried my hand at painting these a little bit, and I am not very good, but fortunately my wife is. And so my wife Karen painted this one for me. We just pulled up pictures of it, and she painted it, and then James glued it together, and now I will have this forever.
Yeah.
And then Mason brought these. So tell us about them. Tell us, how'd you get them?
My sister gave these to me. And
The other one.
I got them on my birthday, actually. She gave them to me for my birthday when I turned 24. So
That was a long time ago,
it
kids.
wasn't that long ago.
They don't know that.
Your birthday's in like 3
Oh, that's
days?
right.
2
Your
days.
birthday
2
is
days?
coming up.
Yeah, so I guess it kind of went full circle in kind of a way. But anyway, she said she went to Hot Topic and found these, and Rick, they only found one with a portal gun, and all the other ones had the flask. And I think there was a story about it that I am gonna butcher, but it kind of came to the closing statements of the Rickest Rick needed the Mortiest Morty.
I agree with that sentiment.
And this is Morty holding the
seeds.
The seeds.
The seeds that he puts up his butt.
He smuggles.
Smuggles up the butt.
He's my little mule Morty. And but yeah, and so yeah, these are some birthday gifts.
Given the choice, I would take the one with the gun over the one with the flask.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah, that one's awesome.
Right?
Well, and we were talking about, so the first time I saw Rick and Morty was here with my son James. Where did you see Rick and Morty?
So, at this point in my life, it was, 2013, and my parents, my mom and my stepdad, lived in Australia, which my stepdad was working there at the time. And I went and visited them, and that was the first time I've ever been to Australia. And I heard that Rick and Morty was coming out. Like, I don't know, I loved it. As soon as I watched it and I saw Morty break his legs. And just
ride there
on the floor.
For an uncomfortable length of time.
Like a dying animal. And it was awesome.
Now, the three of us have all watched every episode of Rick and Morty. But today, we went and watched the first 4 so that we could score them using our scoring system. And something I wanted to, Rick and Morty is not for everyone.
Acquired taste,
yes.
Indeed.
It's not for little kids.
Oh, no.
The humor is very adult. Whoa. If it makes you laugh, you're going to love it. If some of it can be...
It's very dark. Messed up at times. But there's some beautiful things in it. So it's funny, and it's dark, and
it earns its lighthearted moments.
And it's awesome.
And it's very self-aware, and it kind of riffs on a lot of concepts, movies, TV. What I think that draws me to it is they explore a lot of really original concepts, and they also tie in movies that these guys learned about through me because they're Zardoz.
Like
Zardoz.
As soon as they showed that, it's like that's from Zardoz.
It's like, what the hell, Zardoz?
Lawnmower Man.
I've never heard of that.
They hadn't heard of it, but I've seen it. There's so much.
It's like cult classic humor
catnip to us. No, cult classic. You're right.
But it's like an homage to all of those, but in a cartoon, but an animated way. I'm not going to say cartoon anymore.
And you need to do it in an animated way because real life would be so gory and so... it would be unwatchable.
Yeah. Well, it's like South Park.
For me.
You can't... If South Park was real people, you could not watch it.
No.
One of the things we did, like I just said, was we watched the first 4 episodes. So we're going to tell you our thoughts and our scores on those. And then we're going to tell you our cast picks, which I'm really looking forward to. Episode 1 is just called The Pilot. Came out December 2nd, 2013. Like I said, I watched it with my son James. My score for it came out at a 3.5, which is... It means I would watch it maybe if it was on for free, but it didn't really grab me because the characters themselves, when you first are introduced to them, Rick is really abrasive and nihilistic is a really good way to put that. Morty's kind of whiny. Jerry never grows on me. Beth was okay, and I knew who the voice actress was immediately. Summer was okay, but there weren't any characters that's like, oh wow, that character's really cool. It was all concept driven for keeping me watching it in the game. And so the pilot for me was okay. If James hadn't recommended it, I don't know that I'd have kept going. So what do you think of the pilot?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, Mason scores a 4.5.
I thought, yeah. And Carter's was even higher than mine. Damn.
Yeah, we're going backwards.
Like,
so.
because, no, it was fantastic, and I didn't even realize, but in the first scene where they're flying his
car.
His flying saucer.
Yeah, his flying saucer car, and he's talking about, like, blowing up the city.
Had to make a bomb, Morty. I had to create a bomb. What? A bomb? I'm gonna drop it down there. Just get a whole fresh start, Morty. Create a whole fresh start.
Drunkenly just dropping a bomb on.
And then picking up Morty's crush, Jessica, and having them be like a little Adam and Eve, and that he wouldn't do anything with her.
You have to worry about me getting with Jessica or anything. She's all for you, Morty.
And just explaining
Oh,
all of
I
that.
had that same conversation with so many guys in college.
It made me think, it's like, I wonder if they tried to introduce them, like, since Rick is the grandpa and Morty is the son's grandson, right? Mm-hmm. Then he is the Adam, and that makes Rick the god in a weird
I guess it does
way. But then Morty like thinks about that and takes his fruit of knowledge and tries steering the ship and like, no, I'm taking charge of this situation, and starts kicking him and stuff. And then it gets super drunk. It just pulled me in right away.
Yeah.
And later Rick is literally a god with the miniaturized battery world. So
that's true.
He gets there.
So it's like if you don't realize that they did that immediately, like right out of the gate. It's like, oh, I made all this. I made this car
first
out of
impression.
my garage, parts in the garage, and it was just like, wow. But then, Morty like stepping over the cliff, falling down and breaking his legs.
You gotta turn him on.
Turn him on, Morty. And then him writhing on the ground, and then he goes to another dimension and is like, everybody was young, Morty. Everybody was young and they were fascinated with me.
I was fascinating to them. There were a lot of attractive women there, Morty, and they all wanted time with me. I had a lot of fun with a lot of young ladies. But I spent so much time there, my interdimensional portal device, it's got no charge left, Morty. It's got no charge left.
Like, it just made it so much better than him, Morty being a mule and smuggling those
seeds.
mega tree seeds.
Yeah.
And those are big.
Blood.
Those are like pine cones.
Oh, yeah, it was just, the writing was so well done, I guess. But it's all just, a lot of it's just humor that's, I don't know, that it hits us. Hits us all.
Carter?
Hmm?
You covered it pretty good. Anything to add?
Well, I've noticed, like, with Morty writhing like a cricket with his legs broken, it's like, I noticed something about Rick and Morty over time. It's that every horrible, awkward moment lasts a little longer than it needs to, just to really let it wedge in there.
Yep. It's so good.
Makes it memorable, but acquired taste, indeed.
And I like when he slaps that guy in the face when they're running in the airport, and he gets a whiff and inhales that smoke and he coughs, and that thing comes to life and grows and
lives its whole life in like a few steps.
and then falls to its death. Yeah. And then when he's shooting at him, they're just robots, Morty.
I don't want to shoot nobody. They're just robots, Morty.
And he
It's okay to
clips
shoot
one
them. They're
and like
robots.
takes the guy's leg off. Glenn's bleeding!
He's bleeding out all over his family.
They're not robots,
It's so
right?
good.
Lingers.
So the second one is called The Lawnmower Dog. And where the first one, I even, without any background, I knew they were riffing on Back to the Future. Marty and Morty,
Yeah.
it's right there.
It's kind of funny that I did not realize that.
But
you told me that.
the second one is called Lawnmower Dog, and it actually, as far as I could tell, Lawnmower Man I've seen had Pierce Brosnan, and I think Jeff Fahey, and so they use some of that concept. Inception is the one they kind of call out is, oh, you like Inception? Well, let's pick on Inception.
Your ear. You can enter people's dreams, Morty. It's just like that movie that you keep crowing about. You talking about Inception? That's right, Morty. This is gonna be a lot like that, except, you know, it's gonna maybe make sense. Inception made sense? You don't have to try to impress me, Morty. Listen.
And then Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which is like a perfect pairing for Inception if you're gonna parody it.
Looks like some sort of legally safe knockoff of an 80s horror character with miniature swords for fingers instead of knives.
I'm Scary Terry.
And they did, so where the first one for me was a 3.5, the second one jumped to a 3.75. That's getting up there to where, yeah, if I see that episode on, I'm likely to watch it again. So it was definitely growing on me and becoming an acquired taste. Mason, he gave it a 4.25 for Lawnmower Dog. And Carter, he gave it a 4.5. Carter scored at the highest of 3 of us. So,
Yup.
What'd you think of that one, Carter?
Oh, I loved every minute of it. Because, like, a lot of Rick and Morty episodes have a cold open, which is like that first few minutes of the episode that doesn't really affect the rest of it. This one, it affects the rest of it. Like, it's like, oh, what if my dog were smart? Or, better yet, what if the dog could speak?
You wouldn't by any chance have some sort of crazy science thing you could whip up that might help make this dog a little smarter, would you?
I thought the whole point of having a dog was to feel superior, Jerry. If I were you, I wouldn't pull that thread. Come on, Morty.
Speak like that. Like that thing Karen got upstairs for her dog.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. Man, that is a superpower a dog does not need. But it's like they take what is usually a throwaway joke and they take it to its fullest extreme. Like, the dog knows what's up. It's like, Summer, where are my testicles?
I kind of like how Summers was like,
You can't like endow a creature with sentience and then rip it away.
Why not?
and then
I don't know. It's Indian giving.
And it was like, yeah, you're kind of right, but at the same time, this is going to turn out bad. And I love how Jerry beat all over the guns.
To like show his dominance.
See that? I'm peeing all over your special guns. That means I own them.
Oh,
so good.
but there's a scene in there where they're going through the Inceptions and they go to some kind of... Rick ends up in the gimp suit almost.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
The harness.
somebody was fantasizing about Summer.
Summer! Oh, jeez. Looks like Goldenfold has some predilections so shameful he buries them in the dreams of the people in his dreams, including a pervy attraction to your underage sister.
Can you blame
That
him?
was pretty cringy. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Nasty.
And they were going to have an intergenerational sandwich.
Oh, that was so bad.
I know.
That's,
Yes, not for kids.
yeah.
Okay.
But I like that thing that was that beast that's like, oh, come over here, baby. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Come over here, baby. No, I'm okay.
Clayton, one of my friends, used to do that all the time. It's so good. It's just filled with one-liners and,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, aw, bitch.
Oh, bitch.
Nowhere to hide, bitch.
You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Now, the third episode,
Not around Scary Brandon.
they were... Rick shrinks this guy down, or shrinks Morty down and puts him inside this guy's body where they have Anatomy Park, which is very much Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Totally Jurassic Park.
And back in the 60s, I think, there was a movie called Fantastic Voyage where they shrunk some people down in this little ship and put them in this guy's body to save him. And so it very much touched on those.
But Christmas.
Yes.
For me, the episode, I scored this. This was my lowest one at 3.25. There's two plots going. The Rick and Morty plot was good. But the other plot,
The Christmas
the
special.
Christmas one, was a little bit hard for me to watch. It was like,
Well, it's how families
Wow.
are. The
No.
families have messed up stuff
Yeah.
that they hide in their
It's-
closet
it gets
dressed as
real.
Superman.
No!
Here's back at you sometimes.
and you actually scored it the highest.
Yeah.
So you talk about it.
Okay. I personally think it's hilarious when people break through walls. Well, I think it's good, and it's healthy. But I think it's hilarious when they like put it in, I don't know, animations, because they make it so awkward. And
So awkward.
in the whole fishing in the bushes.
My brother took me fishing once in the bushes. I can't.
And the whole
Stop it.
what's it called? Having another lover.
Polyamorous.
Yeah.
Is your mother's lover. I watch them, sometimes from a chair and sometimes from a closet, almost always dressed as Superman.
Oh.
And then the husband being
Lawyer.
Boy, yeah, let's go with that.
yeah, because the other word is
Not fit for
I
television.
have to bleep it out.
Awkward.
I'm gonna say it.
The whole thing.
Can I say it?
No.
No.
Okay.
Ask your parents.
But I thought it was hilarious, and I love where also I'm just gonna add to that where what's the guy's name? The Santa Claus guy's name?
Reuben.
Reuben.
Oh.
Where he brings in Reuben, and Reuben's like Pearl Harbor, and then they're just talking, and then
It's
he's
like the only thing he
Korea.
says.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor and Korea.
They're coming.
Calm down, Jerry. This is Reuben, an old friend.
Pearl Harbor.
I check in on him once a year and give him a little medical evaluation.
Aw, Dad, that is so sweet.
Yeah, it is. I don't get it.
Don't worry about your Christmas, Jerry. I'll be with Reuben.
Is like, I'm a big romantic comedy guy, and sometimes when I put myself in the position of Morty most of the times, because I'm more like Morty than I am like Rick.
Yeah.
But
More like
when they're, I guess they're, and this probably is not going to be in it anyway, but when there's like a female companion and like Morty goes and jumps onto the lungs and stuff, and it like fills up, and he feels like he's trying to be and the guy's like, don't be a hero and stuff like that, and then finally at the end, kind of like they make out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was like,
Good
yes,
for you.
Go,
Good for you, Morty.
go, Morty.
Morty for the win.
Yeah, exactly. See, I love those parts too. That it's like, you think you can get to the left nipple? I'm trying to get to both, Rick.
Relative size. Jerry, hand me a scalpel and a bundle of dynamite. Morty, can you get to the left nipple? Are you kidding? I'm hoping I can get to both of them, Rick. No, Morty, I'm talking about Reuben's left nipple.
It's like those lines are,
They're good.
they're the best. It's so funny.
Now the fourth episode is called Night Chameleons. I remember it really well because that's the one where it's like, okay, I have to watch this series. It's interesting, all three of us gave it a solid 4, which means we'd watch it again if it was available. We haven't reached the ones that caused me to go buy the season, but they're coming.
I think the next one was my one, like, wow. This freaking show.
I really enjoyed this one because they really seem to get the cleverness down. It's about simulations and simulations within simulations.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, we've seen that done in a few shows, but this did it really well. And keep in mind, it's a 20-minute animated show, or 22 minutes. And they did it really well, and I liked how Jerry would I usually don't like Jerry, but he was ignoring all these things that were going on.
Yeah.
because the simulation, they put the CPU on low for Jerry because Jerry's not paying attention. And then Rick's like figures out how to max out the CPU to where the simulation freezes and they can jump out of it. And that was really clever. And I really think, what draws me to the show is some of the concepts, and they're not afraid to take a concept to an extreme. Sometimes they go too far. We'll talk about those.
Ruby.
Yes.
We speak that in hushed tones.
But
Like Voldemort.
I really felt like this one really nailed it. I think David Cross is the one voicing the alien. David Cross is really... I can always spot his voice, and he does really well. Where I know him from is Men in Black. He's actually in the first and second movie as different people because he gets killed in the first one and apparently kills his mother in the second one.
You want to go to Cambodia?
Yeah.
But anyway...
Hey, Mom?
I really, of the first four, this one really cemented me being a Rick and Morty fan.
Converted, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
But all three of us came up with, and this one, it didn't, where the others, specific movies came to mind right away, this one didn't do that to me. I have seen episodes of things or different shows. Vanilla Sky does something with simulations. Red Dwarf does an episode where they're in a simulation within a simulation.
You're hallucinating. What? I thought you weren't going to make it. Welcome back to reality.
So I've seen that concept, but I feel like these guys really got it right.
Yeah. Say so. I'd say so.
So, some of the things that kind of popped out on me while we're just rambling here is, yes, Jerry's, attention was so on his ego that he could not realize anything that was going on. And
Jerry sucks.
And holy shit, I notice that with people in real life, that they're just so stuck in their own head with their own problems that they literally cannot see things around them. And it's like, wow, you did that so well, and you were able to sadly lump a lot of people into a category, and now it's called a Jerry.
Yeah.
So, but then also what I thought was very interesting is it goes on to the creepy side of things, but how what's it called? Rick told Morty to take off your clothes and get in the shower with me. And it was just what? but then it gets to the point where it's if that was the only way to get out of this simulation, could you do it?
Yeah.
And that was
you'd have to be pretty darn sure it was a simulation.
Exactly.
Before you get naked in high school.
Human vulnerability.
That was, for me, one of those moments that said, I am so glad this isn't live action.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad.
Yeah. Well, they just, they wear it and it's skin colored, and then they just...
I know.
And they have leaves and stuff cover it. And
well, they were doing
cinematography that's really good.
I think they used to do it in British comedies a lot. The whole...
Did you get that?
You don't ever see anything...
Well, it's like Austin Powers.
Yes.
Where
he's
walking around naked, and she's like, ooh, and she bites the sausage and stuff.
And he's blowing up the balloon and... all of that's exactly
the whole montage
what it
is
made me
amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I couldn't stop staring at you.
But and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that whole episode was really good. Are you hungry for apples? Are you hungry for... Yeah.
Yeah, you like that? Now who's unremarkable? You hungry for apples? Are you hungry for apples?
It's so funny.
Anything you want to add?
No, Mason hit every point I was gonna hit.
My man.
Right?
My man.
My man.
Before.
Yeah. No, it's the same one.
Is that battery died?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to show you our scoreboard, and so you can see the effect of watching this show and averaging the scores from the 4 episodes, what it did for our scores. So Carter, his average is a 4.250. Rick and Morty Season 1, Episodes 1 through 4 to the top of his scoreboard. For Mason, he came out
I was going to
with...
add that separately, but that works too. Now I'm just
You're
gonna
welcome.
add that.
Mason has the exact same score.
Here
Your
it is
average
again.
is 4.250. Moving it in second place, just behind Resident Alien, Episode 1 and 2.
Nice.
For me, I came out with an average of 3.625, which moves it into second, just behind Resident Alien. So definitely popular with all 3 of us. It's interesting to me that these 2 scores are identical, but episode-wise, your scores are really different.
Yeah.
But on the average, you 2 like the show.
Well, that's what we were talking about, how, like, some of the things that kind of cringe Carter out are the things that are my top. Just because I think it goes to a place where it's memorable. It's messed up, but it's fake. So it's funny.
I have a friend, JP, and the things he thinks are hilarious, I cringe at. And the things I think are hilarious, he doesn't think are that funny.
It doesn't faze him.
But we both like the same movies, so I get where you're coming from.
Ebony and Ivory.
Now, the other thing we did was, before we watched these, we decided that we would do a cast any for Rick and Morty. And it was interesting because usually we don't tell each other our picks, but we were really excited about our picks.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it.
Well, I'm kind of glad we did because Uncle and I picked the same Morty, and then I had to change my Morty.
I said, we were talking last night, and I said something about Morty, and we both at the same time said Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Well, Mason found another one, so I'm keeping Tom Holland.
Fine, you can keep him.
Would be the perfect Morty.
Yeah, of course he's a perfect Morty. He's a perfect everything.
Yeah, just look at him.
Yeah. But couldn't you just see him being Morty?
Yeah, hell yeah.
If the whole Spider-Man thing doesn't work out, he'll probably look young enough by his 30s that he can still do it.
He can still do it.
The man doesn't age!
Okay, so who did you end up with for Morty?
Forget his name.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera.
Yes. Michael Cera.
Like, so think of him back, like, super bad, maybe even
Scott
younger.
Pilgrim even.
Yeah. And he just works so well. Yeah. So
Used in Revolt especially because he plays both himself and his evil version.
I've never seen it, sadly, but
I will loan it to you.
we should just watch it together. 'Cause
Even better.
When we watch movies together, it's a lot funnier.
Yep.
Yes.
Who's your Morty?
Jacob Tremblay. He is an up-and-coming teenage actor. I believe he is actually 14 now. And what convinced me, actually, was a movie I hated. The Predator.
Oh, the latest one?
Yeah, I saw with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I did
Is
not...
he the one that
He was a
finds
little
the
kid,
helmet?
yeah. But he's such a
Okay.
smart ass about it. And I feel like he could develop into that. One of his big breaks was Room, not The Room. Very distinct difference, by the way.
Yeah.
With Brie Larson, won some Oscars. And like, this kid knows what he's doing.
Cool. Now for Rick was a little tougher. One thing I told myself is I will not pick
Christopher
Lloyd because that's just too spot on. So I kind of searched around and gave it some thought, and I came up with Gene Wilder. If you've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or is it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
No.
One's the name of the book, one's the name of the movie.
Willy Wonka's the movie. Charlie is probably the book, and Tim Burton.
And the Tim Burton. Gene Wilder, I've liked him in almost everything I've seen him in. Blazing Saddles, he's hilarious. Young Frankenstein, he plays Dr. Frankenstein.
Question, Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
But
I
it
beg your pardon?
is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because Rick's a very complicated character. Gene Wilder could have done it justice. That's my pick.
Concur.
Rick.
Go to Carter first. I don't
Rick.
know. You gotta think about it.
Stephen Ogg. He is a Canadian actor best known for independent films and television series, including The Walking Dead. But most of the entertainment world knows him for Grand Theft Auto 5. He was Trevor. And fun fact, I actually met this guy at a fan convention in Salt Lake a few years back. And even just talking to him, just chatting with him and the people in his line, he's like, yeah, you could totally be Rick from Rick and Morty.
Nice.
Just give him a wig and shave his mustache, like he could get the crazy down.
Cool. All right, Mason.
Okay. I don't really have a good choice for Rick, so I'm stealing a choice for Rick from Screen Rant because we were looking it up when we were eating. And Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
As soon as you said Nicolas Cage, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Just, Nicolas Cage is a good actor, you just need to let him loose.
Yeah.
Let him off the chain.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
and he could be abrasive like Rick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think of the scene in National Treasure 2 where he fake pretends to be drunk in that British, place.
The pub?
No, it's like the Parliament place. I don't know what it's called.
I think it is Parliament.
It probably is, but I feel terrible for not understanding this. But yeah, when
For
he goes
shame.
there, so that yeah, because the Queen's desk is there. The Resolute
No, they went
desk.
to
It's the wrong time.
Who's in there?
Buckingham Palace.
Yes, Buckingham Palace.
Okay.
I've never actually seen that
So
movie.
when Nicolas Cage goes to Buckingham Palace to see the Resolute desk, he has to pretend to get drunk to get
Not
contained.
For that, going to detain a blighter for enjoying his whiskey. It's all right, that's enough. Smackers and mash, sir. Balls and squid. Smoke your pie, sir. Hi, guys! That's it! Dismount the banister. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. Here they are.
Trying to?
Yeah, but contained so that in the containment unit they can get out and he can go through some elevator shaft. And when he's drunk in that, or pretends to be drunk, that's the closest thing I've seen to Rick in his acting.
I felt like when he would do his crazy face in Ghost Rider. He does. He has it.
He bugs his eyes
He
out.
bugs his eyes out. And he does his crazy
I've
face.
seen the memes.
Exactly. Yeah. All good picks. So if they do live action,
Don't.
next time
Yeah,
we do Rick and Morty,
action.
we'll have to do a cast today because Gene Wilder unfortunately passed away years ago.
Yeah,
He would have been awesome.
his memory be blessed.
But for the next Rick and Morty, we'll cast King Jellybean
Of course.
as Mr. Meeseeks.
Yes. And Bird Person, obviously.
None of that.
Part of the reason we did Rick and Morty today or tonight is they have season 6 coming out very soon. And so we went back and revisited the beginning of the series. And when the new season comes out, we'll check it out. Knowing us, we'll like it, but we'll let you know how it is, and we'll do another panel.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
Put a pull up on that again.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.